So I'll be honest. It sounds weird. It doesn't really sound intimidating or like heavy. It's like he's just overemphasizing it a little bit too much. Um, yeah, just kind of stale. And the way that all the music kind of has to retreat back in order for him to get that in there, it's a little strange. And it does sound incomplete here. And that's because it is. He's going to complete this spoken word thing later on. But it does sort of ask, well, I mean, it does get you thinking like, okay, what is he blaming this adversary for? Who is the adversary, etc. That's all we know at this point. And so, yeah, again, I don't know if it doesn't seem to quite relate back to the chorus yet, but we at least have this idea of like, there is this person, an adversary who only responds to aggression. So let's keep going. So he then says deception. Deception's a pretty generic, again, standard hard rock metal phrase, but let's just see what he does with it, because I think he did a good job or a decent job with aggression, like giving us a different angle on aggression. So he says, deception, it's a pain that burns inside. It only hurts when it's applied. So let's just start with it's a pain that burns inside. That's true, actually. Deception, it is a pain that hurts inside, whether you are the one being deceived or the one who is doing the deceiving. If you've ever been deceived in real life, like if you've ever been deceived or betrayed in some instance, it's a very deep pain. It's very impactful. Hurt. It does burn because it makes you question yourself. Because then you're questioning your own intelligence, right? And how did I let this happen to me? And then the people who do the deceiving, if you've ever deceived somebody, if you have a conscience, it does weigh on you as well. It kind of gives you an internal level of strife, even if you don't recognize it consciously. I think even people who don't have a very strong moral code, even when they do the deceiving, it burns them inside. They just might not realize it. So yeah, I would say deception is a pain that burns inside. This is factually true. He then says, it only hurts when it's applied. Yeah, I don't really get the meaning of this line. It only hurts when it's applied. Yep, that is, I guess, also true. You only get hurt by deception when deception is applied to you. Like, sure. Yeah, throwaway line as far as I'm concerned. Doesn't have any meaning. But then he does something interesting here. It's a pain that burns inside. It only hurts when it's applied. Sign here. So he interjects another spoken word line. He says sign here, which again is extremely cliche. And I know I keep saying that over and over again, but it is. There is no ambiguity about what he's implying. It is simply someone is deceiving you by telling you to sign the paper or sign your soul away. It's like the generic business guy who's an asshole who's like, here, sign this, sign right here. It's just whatever. It does also feel out of place. But let me finish out this verse and I'll kind of go into that in more detail. He then the final part of this verse, which I almost would consider the pre-chorus, is this. That's why. Yeah, so he finishes that spoken word section from halfway in the verse. He says, and that's why I blame you for feeling the way that I do. This is just clunky as hell. This is just a mess. First off, it is phrased in a way that is extremely misleading. So the way that I took this phrase, and I like had to consciously rewire my brain to think about this phrase differently. I took this phrase as similar to, as if you were saying like, and that's why I don't, as if he was saying like, or as if you were to say, and that's why I don't blame you for feeling the way that I do. Right? But I know he doesn't say that. He says, and that's why I blame you for feeling the way that I do. But the way that he says it, that's how that phrase is usually done, like said. It's like, I don't blame you for feeling the way that I do. but he's saying, I blame you for feeling the way that I do. Which, so immediately to me, I'm thinking like, I blame you because you feel the way that I feel. That doesn't make sense. Like, that almost seems like he should be like, that's a point of reconciliation, right? Like they should actually be able to come together and agree that we feel the same. That's how I took it. And then I realized, no, he's saying, I blame you for the way that I feel, which is just super clunky. The way that you would say that is like, you know, you could have phrased it almost any other way. You could have said like, I feel this way because of you, or you've made me feel the way that I do, or just any other way, or like, I feel this way and I blame you. Like, you, any other way other than, and that's why I blame you for feeling the way that I do. It's like, it's just super clunky. Yeah, I don't know. And then even then, like, fine, whatever. Maybe I just misinterpreted it. But even if you grant it, like, okay, that's not what he meant to say, it still is just a clunky line, doesn't really have much meaning. It's like, it honestly comes off as a little weak. It's like, I blame you for the way that I feel. I feel this way and it's your fault. It's like, okay, all right, macho man. Like, what are you doing here? Like, oh, you're just letting other people dictate how you feel. And I would say that maybe it's supposed to be like some larger point about society or something, but he doesn't really give us much indication of that. And this kind of gets into my issue with this verse as a whole. It doesn't really add much, and it's so ambiguous. It's so nebulous about what the nature of this conflict is, that even though there's like some interesting stuff here, like with that first part, the aggression, it's the only thing you'll hear, we don't really even understand what this is about. On top of that, it does not seem relevant to the chorus at all. Like, the chorus seemed to imply some grand struggle for humanity, in some way. I don't know whether we're spiraling towards our doom, or we're dying and resting in pieces, or whether we're guilty of doing something, or whether we're being punished unjustly for something we didn't do. I don't know. Whatever. It's a mess. But the idea was that this was some broader song about humanity. Then we get to this verse, and it seems very down to earth and personal. It's like that sign here. Like, we've got just like that's the type of thing that you see in like a boxing movie, when some like agent is like manipulating the boxer who doesn't know any better or something. Like, that's like a very down to earth, person to person story, which is very different from the larger, you know, grand conflict that was hinted at in the chorus, in the intro chorus. So it's just kind of a bit of a mess, like, in terms of the scope of the song. But then even with the specific lyrics, it's like, okay, deception, it burns inside, it only hurts when it's applied. It's like, yeah, okay. What is the real conflict here? What are we doing? Or what are we talking about? What is this song actually about? The sign here is the closest we maybe get to a conflict, which implies, okay, the narrator has been deceived somehow, but who has he been deceived by? What was the purpose of the deception? What is the outcome of the deception? Why would the narrator even be deceived in the first place? Like, why is he being chosen to be deceived? What is special about him? And how does any of this tie into the sort of like apocalyptic nature of the chorus? I don't know. It's all so ambiguous that there's nothing at all to really sink your teeth into and to chew on and to contemplate. Kind of a bummer. But we're only one verse in. Maybe there's more. We shall see. We shall find out. But let's go into the chorus.